Today we are going to talk about toxic culture, cancel culture, toxicity in the dog world. And I will give you two examples of groups or forums in specific fields. So the first example is that of outcrossing, and the other one is the Staffordshire Bull Terrier. So, without further ado, first state what toxic and cancel culture brings. So they want you to not express yourself. They only have one view that they want to be expressed, and it's oftentimes their view. It's very close to their heart, and they don't want you to have your own opinion or show your how do you say this? Your meditations why and your reasoning why you have a good view as well, or maybe even better. With that being said, an example of toxicity, toxic culture in the OUTCROSS community. Let's first start off with the OUTCROSS community should be and is. So OUTCROSS community is there to help to improve dog breeds. That should be the purpose. And why is that? Because especially show breeds, the dogs without purpose and athleticism required are on the downfall, and they have a lot of trouble because they're bred for certain looks. Books are closed, so they have only the pure dog, so to say, which is inbred, and therefore they need outcrosses to get heterosis back in there and to fix the health issues and other issues involved. That should be the purpose. Now, what is the purpose oftentimes? To get as low as possible coefficient of inbreeding, so more or less just a glorified scatter breeding, instead of getting the dogs that are the best suited, and also bring a lot of possibilities that they will transfer that to the next generation. They just try to get the COE as low as possible. Then they will, and they did, disrespect the Patterdale Terrier to a high degree and keep sucking at info, even though that you already gave very good answers, just to try to find something that they can use against you. And even if they fail, which they did, because I showed a video about Patterdale Terriers and the power to weight that you can also transfer to other breeds. So they will try to keep pushing on that they don't understand something or something else. Even if you then do tell them, they will say, oh, your Patterdale Terriers are pulling at the leash. And I said, perhaps you don't have so much knowledge of this Patterdale Terrier. And then they said, yeah, we have so much knowledge, even more than you if you believe them. So, that being said, then I said, okay, if you have so much knowledge, you must have a lot of knowledge, and left it at that. And that resulted because I just stood above their petty attempts. That meant that then the moderator was asked by the guy that was just sucking and being someone that is not helping, to reprimand me, because I would not let me be tricked into a mindless and non-intelligent discussion. And then she says, if you don't answer these questions of this member, I will remove the post. So I then stated to her that I already answered it, and also gave the reason why I answered, that the power to weight is a good measure to compare breeds, but I'm not there. I also have another life to answer every question that someone can throw at you. And then she removed the post, the moderator, and stating that I breached group rules. And the group rules were stated below that, and they just stated that you're not required to react to every post, and that they like it if you're able and willing to answer questions, but it's not obliged. So I confronted her with that I did not, yeah, how do you say this, not obliged to the rules. I did to the T, but of course I'm not obliged to do everything. When I say, okay, I have answered these and these questions, I'm not needed to react to every post. So if you are there and you give a reaction that they cannot take out and they will go to another direction again, then they are not obliged to answer. But if you are not answering another post because you're not getting yourself lured into another census discussion, they will hold it against you. So the forum rules already have their backs, and also yours should be, but then they just delete your post anyway because you're right. And you know why they were so pissed off? You want to know why? Because the power to weight of a Patternhill so enormously good. Power to weight of Bull and Terrier breeds so enormously good, and they don't want that because they are not there to get the best breeds possible. These are highly evolved dog breeds, and they might be pure within a breed, but they're so highly evolved that they kick ass of any other dog breed, if not all. So I'm not saying that they will kick ass to any dog breed, but if you compare it also to power to weight, they will be such a good contender, and they don't like that because they are not there to really improve dogs. They just are there to keep going on with the breeds that they already have. For example, the pug, and they infuse a little bit other blood that they can still go on with their practices. And also that moderator, she breeds English Mastiffs, and she needs to go out, and she only goes out like a small degree, to Greyhound to keep her so-called working Mastiffs able and healthy enough, so scraping the bottom. To say, if you compare it with a true working Mastiff, for example, a band dog, that's of course a dog that has true heterosis, Bull and Terrier breed and Mastiff breed, and some are even 75% the best. Some of the best kennels even use 75% American Pit Bull Terrier, for example the Sentinel canine program, and then they don't like it when you state that the power to weight is such tremendously good in the Bull and Terrier breeds, because the Bull and Terrier breed is harder to work with. They are stringing their heartstrings, they're pulling on the leash, they have a good character. Then those easy lap dogs, huh? And even if you like heterosis, I think that's a good thing. I think that you can learn so much from the OUTCROSS community if it was an inviting space, which they state in their comments. It's an inviting space, but only for those that have exactly the same thoughts as the members, that they that are just moderating and giving only one narrative. But that being said, if you look at the Patternhill Terrier and you look closely, it's a breed that excels, being a pure breed, and also like wolves. Wolves are also a natural incarnation of the dogs. All the dogs came from wolves, and wolves are line bred. And why is that? The best wolves are bred to each other. They are not scatterbred to have the highest coefficient of inbreeding decreased. No, they not pursue the lowest coefficient of inbreeding, they pursue the highest coefficient of inbreeding, as long as the alphas are still the strongest. So it's made a requisite that the dogs perform, but very often certain bloodlines do perform and are the alpha, and also will be the alpha for the next generation. So they will prevail over all the other genetics. If you're looking at wolves, where the alpha families are allowed to pass the genes and the others with the inferior genes are not, that states what nature does in the wolves. And the wolves are the wild dogs, so to say. And then if you look at the Patterdale Terrier, it's the same. Those dogs need to perform before they are bred, because they're working stock. So normally if a hunter can choose between two dogs and one looks a lot less pretty and the other one does, but the less pretty one is working a lot better, guess which dogs will be bred? Goedemorgen.
Oh, yeah.
And that's different, huh? And also if you then look at Patterdale Terriers, but also for example even more purebred type of dogs, American Pit Bull Terrier might be one of the purest of all the dog breeds. They're bred very pure and very tight, and they perform so well because they are performance selected. And that shows that you do not need all that scatter breeding to get good dogs. You don't. But there's a role for scatter breeding. There's a role for scatter breeding. There's for backyard breeders, in my opinion. But there's a role for outcrossing. And that role is to add some genes when there's a lot of inbreeding depression. And then you, in the pit dog world, they will outcross to another very highly inbred dog very often to get the most benefit of the line and do not lose all the hard-earned qualities like gameness and their enormous strength to weight ratio. But if you look at the Patterdale Terrier, this is a dog that has been bred out of Northumberland Terrier, which is a little type of pit dog, but also Border Terrier, Lakeland Terrier, and how was it? Bedlington Terrier even, and then also still recently they are being crossed out. So the book has not been closed because of the working dog. So what I am referring to, that Patterdale Terriers are still being outcrossed to this day to other good working terriers. So sometimes I find an exceptional Border Terrier to cross out to, or a Lakeland Terrier, or even a German Yacht Terrier once in a while. If they are exceptional, then they also infuse bull blood. So recent bull blood of Staffordshire Bull Terrier or Bull Russells or Bull Terrier and the likes, American Pit Bull Terrier sometimes. So these dogs are like the epitome, or epitome. Epitome is better in this situation, of an outcrossing example. So a breed that is still breeds true, it has enormous performance potential, good health, and is still not being closed off in the book. Okay. So instead of just glorifying that as a good example, they try to block out members that have shown a different vision to their own tunnel vision. Have a great day. Cancel culture is so toxic and so bad because it will move the other views, and the other views will increase the field of knowledge. Especially those minority groups that are closer to the working dog, the original dog, often have a lot more knowledge and should be cherished. Even if you're not able to do it yourself, they should be cherished because they have the biggest hope to still improve the breed or bring it back to its glorified self once it was still had a purpose. So that's that. And by blocking them out, you just remove opposite views and you go to a mainstream type of dog. So all dogs will look the same, to be as easy as possible to handle instead of real working candidates. So you're not longer separating dogs on performance, you're separating them only on looks, but they all are bland, easygoing dogs that have no drive or very little drive at all, and are very hard to manage and to increase for a specific purpose, because they are a mix of everything. And also the wolf is a jack of all trades and a master of none, so to say, but it's still a very good, capable killer. It's a very capable killer. Also a dog that can do that is no longer part of society. It can very hard be handled. They took a lot of time to make them very dog friendly and very human friendly. And also purposeful. So that is a hard task to achieve. And then if you look at Staffordshire Bull Terrier society, why is it toxic? Especially those small groups that still have the working Bull and Terrier. And even if they are not show-winning dogs, that's all the better. If a Staffordshire Bull Terrier currently is winning a show, I would almost automatically exclude it from being a good dog, because the show is just exaggerated. But if the dog has very good characteristics, I would want to change my mind. If it can perform better than the other dogs, I will be very welcome to rethink it. Then I will also look at how it inherits its traits. That's also an important thing to consider. Hope this video helps. Have a great day. This is my Petadil Terrier, BSL Estacado, which shows you more how a working type Stafford should look like than the current day show Stafford. Have a great day.